In November 2023, in the quiet town of Elm Creek, Maine, 16-year-old Jamie Brennan went missing. He had gone into the woods behind town with his dog, Max, and never returned. Rescue teams searched for days. Eventually, they found the dog at the base of an old suspension bridge, shivering, terrified. But Jamie was gone. A month later, in the middle of the night, the phone rang at the Brennan household. The call lasted 11 seconds. The recording captured silence, then a whisper. "I'm here, but this place, it's not the woods." The police dismissed it as a cruel prank. But Jamie's parents swore it was his voice. That's when Marcus Gray took the case. A private investigator, former FBI. After retiring, Marcus specialized in strange disappearances. What drew him in wasn't just the call, but the pattern. Jamie was the third teenager to vanish in those woods in the past 40 years. All disappeared in autumn, all within a mile of the abandoned suspension bridge locals call the Whispering Bridge. Chapter 2. The Bridges Past. Marcus checked into a small roadside motel and headed straight to the town archives. He discovered the bridge was built in 1896 as part of a short railroad line. But after a mysterious train derailment in 1923, the route was decommissioned and the bridge abandoned. Official reports claim the train jumped the tracks without cause. No mechanical faults were ever found. 3 of the 50 passengers survived. All 3 gave nearly identical statements. Just before the crash, they heard voices whispering inside their heads. One survivor, a pastor, wrote in his journal, "It was no voice of God, it was hunger speaking. It knew our names and it called us." Over the years, the bridge was swallowed by the forest. The railway vanished into moss and undergrowth. Teenagers dared each other to go there at night. Some came back, changed. Others never came back at all. Marcus decided to visit the only witness to Jamie's disappearance, his dog, Max. Max still lived with Jamie's parents. According to his mother, ever since returning, the dog hadn't barked once. He just stared into the corner of the room and whimpered through the night. The vet said Max was healthy, physically, but something inside him had changed. He refused food. He didn't react to his name. Only once, when Marcus gently whispered, "Jamie, you saw him, didn't you?" Max stood up and howled, eyes fixed on the window. But Marcus noticed the dog wasn't looking out the window. He was staring at his own reflection in the glass. First nights, Marcus decided to explore the bridge during the day. He brought a recorder and a small camera. The bridge creaked and swayed in the wind like it was breathing. Patches of scorched grass surrounded the wooden posts. And under one of the beams, someone had left a doll, wrapped in rusty wire, its eyes cut out. At its feet was a hand-painted wooden sign. The gone are not always gone. He turned on his recorder. The wind was the only sound. But when he played it back later that night, he heard something else. Faint, hissing, a voice, as if someone were whispering right behind his ear. "You came for him, so now I come for you." Something follows. After hearing the whisper on the recording, Marcus didn't sleep. He played it back over and over, slowing it down, isolating frequencies. There was more buried in the static. Not just words, but names. Jamie, the others, even his own. Marcus, come listen. He wasn't sure if it was real or his mind twisting sounds into patterns. But that night, for the first time in years, he dreamed. He stood on the bridge. The sky was an unnatural red. Trees swayed though there was no wind. Below the wooden planks, there was no river, just darkness, endless and moving. And rising from it, hands, dozens, pale, thin, reaching. Whispers crawled up from the void. He woke up to scratching. Inside his motel room, when he turned on the light, nothing. But carved into the inside of the door in jagged lines. One step closer. Missing files. Marcus contacted the county sheriff's office to access records from the previous disappearances. But now files were gone. Erased. Even the 911 call Jamie's parents received had vanished from their phone logs. The local operator who took the original missing person report claimed she never remembered taking the call. It was like someone or something was removing evidence. He returned to the bridge, this time at dusk. The forest was unnaturally silent. No birds, no wind, just that low, ever-present hum, like breathing. He crossed to the center of the bridge and left a tape recorder again, letting it run as he sat in silence. He spoke softly into the recorder. "If you're real, if Jamie's alive, tell me what you want." Nothing replied. Not then. But when he returned and played the tape that night, there was a voice. Clear, slow, a child's voice. "He fed us. Now we feed him. You stepped onto the bridge, Marcus. Now you can't step back." And in the background, he could hear the sound of wood creaking and something wet dragging across the planks. The mirror game. That night, Marcus woke up to the sound of dripping. He went into the motel bathroom. The mirror was fogged, though he hadn't used the shower. And on the glass, smeared like condensation from a breath, were words. "Do you see him yet?" Behind his reflection, just for a second, he saw movement. A tall figure, far too thin, with limbs that bent the wrong way, standing behind him. When he turned, nothing. Marcus left the motel that night and slept in his car. He didn't dream, because dreams need sleep, and a whisper doesn't like sleep. Chapter 8. The Return. Marcus went back to the Brennan's house. Jamie's father had left town. His mother, pale and sunken-eyed, said she heard Jamie's voice again. "It's not a voice," she whispered. "It's a memory trying to stay alive. But he's not alone in there anymore." She handed Marcus a piece of lined notebook paper, torn at the edge, smeared with dirt. One phrase was scrawled across it. "I saw the face behind a voice." And under it a sketch. Childlike. A huge head, too many teeth, no eyes. Just empty holes, and ears that looked like they were growing. Marcus knew. Jamie had written this. Recently, he was still alive, or something wearing him wanted them to believe that. Chapter 9. The Breach. The final night, Marcus returned to the bridge one last time. He came alone, with no recorder, no camera, only a lantern and a name in his mouth. "Jamie," he said into the dark. "I'm here." The forest responded. A gust of wind blew through the trees, but the leaves didn't move. The lantern flickered, then blew out. The air grew warm, then hot, then wet, like he was standing inside someone's breath. From the shadows beneath the bridge, he heard footsteps, then whispers, dozens. Some begged, some laughed, some called his name in voices that belonged to children. And then one voice broke through them all. Not a whisper, a command. "Step forward, Marcus. You came looking for him. Trade yourself, or leave with nothing." He stepped forward, one step, and suddenly, he wasn't on the bridge. He was beneath it, in a space too large to exist. A hollow world, roots like veins across the ceiling. Dozens of children stood in the dark, faces blank, eyes black, whispering. In the center, a boy, Jamie. He turned slowly, smiled faintly. "He's hungry," Jamie said. "He needs a new voice. One that knows pain. One that's been heard before." Marcus felt his mouth move, not on its own. He was starting to whisper,